Senior Isaiah Hunter poured in a career-high 28 points, and ODU dominated the Buffs on the boards on their home court for the 18-point victory, 79-61. Hunter led the way with another career-high performance of 29 points as ODU handed Hofstra its first home loss in 21 games. The Monarchs are the only team to beat the Pride at home the last 2 years. Senior Isaiah Hunter led the Monarchs in scoring and repeated his selection on the All-CAA squad. Hunter ranked 11th in the CAA in scoring and completed his career with 1,425 career points, which ranks him 15th all-time at ODU.
The year before.
That streak ended in the Monarchs returned home to beat JMU and UNC Wilmington in front of a nationally televised audience on ESPN2. ODU did not disappoint the capacity crowd of Monarch faithful, beating VCU, battled back and forth with 13 lead changes. But with the Rams leading by Isaiah Hunter, Kaya Thomas, and Drew Williamson made big shots, the Spartans came back in the second half. But ODU rallied to take a 2-point lead, 64-62 on Isaiah. Isaiah Hunter joined Loughton on the CAA All-Conference squad and All-Tournament team. He was also the tournament MVP of the Corpus Christi Challenge.
Personal foul number 1 for Henderson, team foul number 1 for the Monarchs. Number 4, Andy Osborne of the Buffaloes. Personal foul number 1 for Osborne. Team foul number 1 for Colorado. At free throw line, Old Dominion, number 31, ARNAUD, shooting 2. personal foul number 1, team foul number 2 for Colorado. At free throw line, Alex Loudon shooting 2. Harrington and the Buffalo Lions, Vasilius, number 42, and Johnson, number 4, in the Old Dominion. Basket by Isaiah Hunter. Old Dominion. 30-second timeout. Colorado. Personal foul number 1, team foul number 3. At free throw line, Alex Loudon in 2. Copeland for Colorado, Anderson, DAHI, and Adante in 4 for the Dominion. basket by Marcus Hall, Colorado. Basket by ARNAUD, DAHI. Foul number 40. Alex Welcome, personal foul number 2, team foul number 3, number 31. Back on the court for ARNAUD, DAHI. Replacing Welcome. ARNAUD, DAHI, personal foul number 1. DAHI, team foul number 4, Old Dominion University. Lynette Nicolak, Buffaloes, shooting 2. Number 12, Martine Freeman, back in Buffalo, replacing Richard Roby. Richard Romeo back in the Buffalo line. Replacing Glenn Eddy. Number 15, Chris Copeland, also into the Buffalo line. Replacing Julius Ashby. Penalty number 1, Glenn Eddy. Personal foul number 1. Team foul number 6 for Colorado. In goal Dominion number 20. Brian Henderson replacing Ladonde. Fouls number 10, Scott Singer of the Buffaloes. Personal foul number 1 for Singer. That is the 17th foul. Team foul number 7 for Colorado. Brandon Johnson at the free throw line. Shooting 2. Alex Loudon, Lacey Vasilius in the Old Dominion line. Harrison Adams in the Old Dominion line. Fouls number 4, Brandon Johnson, personal foul. 2 more scores at the NIT this evening. With 2:40 remaining in the first half. In Old Dominion, number 10, Williams, 7, number 42, Vasilius, 31, Ron Lee, and 100. April Colorado, Osborne, number 50, and number 42. McGee. Fouls number 31, ARNAUD DAHI. Personal foul number 2 for DAHI. Team foul number 6 for Old Dominion. Fouls number 4, Andy Osborne. Buffaloes, personal foul number 3 for Osborne. That is the 18th foul for Colorado. Free throw line number 31, ARNAUD DAHI, shooting 2. Anderson into the Old Dominion lineup. Freeman and the Buffaloes. caution, replacing DAHI in the Old Dominion line. Fouls number 40, McGee, personal foul number 1 for McGee, team foul number 9 for Colorado, Bosway, Hall, and Errington in Buffalo line. DAHI into the Old Dominion line. Alvis, Vasilius, Cathedral line, 1 and 1. Checking in for Old Dominion, number 30, Sam Harris. Harris replacing Vasilius. Personal foul number 1 for Freeman, 2 foul number 10 for Colorado, 10th team foul. Free throw line. Fouls number 10, Drew Williamson of Old Dominion. Personal foul number 1, team foul number 8. Control Dominion number 34, Jonathan Adams. Adams replacing Henderson. 34, Jonathan Adams. Personal foul number 2 for Adams. Colorado in the double bonus. Richard will be at the free throw line to shoot 2. Alex Dalton back on the court for Old Dominion, replacing Jason Thompson. In for the Buffaloes, number 1, Eddie. Eddie replacing Opasoe. Also in, number 42, Valdez Vasilius for Old Dominion, replacing Adams. Fouls number 12, Marte Freeman. Personal foul number 2 for Freeman. Valdez Vasilius at the free throw line for Old Dominion to shoot 2. Sam Harris back in the Monarchs lineup, replacing Bloucher. Fouls number 42, Valdez Vasilius. Personal foul number 1 for Vasilius. At free throw line for Colorado, number 1, Glenn Eddie, shoot 3.
Oh, no.
Arkansas in the Buffalo lineup. Number 40, Alex Bowden in for Old Dominion. Score at halftime, Old Dominion 33, Colorado 29.
Go ahead. Hey, I got the headset on. Go ahead. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Jimmy? Go ahead. And that's a game track. Okay, you said Star Track. Okay, I was waiting. Okay, okay. Okay, it's billboard, wide shot, score, on camera, and game track. Okay. 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 Hey, can you roll those again? I was waiting for something else. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Okay. During one of our timeouts, I may switch to a different headset for some reason. This one, it just continues to get. No, I can barely. I mean, it's just so staticky, and I've only got the volumes about half open, so. We are at halftime here at a Constant Convocation Center in Norfolk. 10-point lead for the Monarchs of Old Dominion as rivalry week continues, presented by Cisco Systems. And along with Bucky Waters, I'm Jerry Punch. And Coach, if you didn't look at the scoreboard, do you think this game was a whole lot closer, as physical as both teams are being?
Well, they have. It's been physical. It's been conservative. Neither team wanting to let the other, out of arm's length. But the front court of the Monarchs was dominating. They only had 5 turnovers for the whole first half. They were very efficient, as we promised they would be, and that's something the Rams have to match in the second half. A little careless with the ball.
Everyone expected Alex Lawton to be a factor early on here. He is the preseason conference player of the year, and indeed he was. Watch big number 40 inside from Australia. He can get it done. Averaging only 12 points a game, but he was perfect from the field, 6 for 6 inside. The problem was, at the 11-minute mark of the first half, right there he picked up his second personal foul. Enter one ARNAUD DAHI, the big physical specimen from the Ivory Coast. 5 of 8 in the field, 14 points to lead the Rams in the first half.
27 between them. They were awesome. Talk about efficient. Lawton with 13 points in 8 minutes, plus 2 blocks and a steal.
Turnovers 9-5. Excuse me, Coach. Turnovers 9-5. Virginia Commonwealth needed to take better care of the ball in the second half, and Jeff Capel very concerned about 2 things. So we can't turn the ball over, and we cannot allow ODU's big men inside to hurt us, and both happened in the first half. Well,
those second chance points again are definitely pointing to a front court dominance by Old Dominion.
Blaine Taylor's Monarchs stand at 22-3, 12-1 in the conference, and there's the young 30-year-old, 30 years of age today, youngest Division I head coach Jeff Capel, whose VCU Rams trying to claw back here in the second half. Outside, nothing but net for Isaiah Hunter. 11 points for the junior from Charlotte.
Capel knows he can come back, but he was down 3 at home in Richmond earlier. He's down now 13.
Turnover number 10 for the Rams, and Hunter, a nice soft one-hander. Got to be very careful. The Rams have to be. The Monarchs will blow them out of here early in the second half.
Drew Williamson had a sensational first half for Old Dominion. Number 10, 5 assists, no turnovers. And that helps to create that advantage that the Monarchs enjoyed inside. The point guy did it.
Biggest lead of the afternoon. It was 15 points until Nick George nailed that one to cut it back to 12.
Remember, George had his career day in that first game against Old Dominion at VCU. Enabled him to come from behind.
Inside, Lawton the turnaround, gets it partially blocked. That is the first miss of the afternoon from the field by Alex Lawton, who was 6 for 6 in the first half.
I believe VCU needs to go at Lawton. They are not firing threes. If they got a chance at all, is to go with that big guy, that big Aussie, and get him in some foul trouble.
Coach, when these two teams played the first time back in Richmond on January 29th, it was VCU who went on an early second half run to pull ahead. A 14-5 run in the second half, and they are very dangerous early in the second half, but they're struggling right now here offensively in the first minutes today. Oh, nice one-hander by B.A. Walker.
VCU much better in transition. They just haven't been able to get out and go. Low 30s, no hops. They're not going to beat Old Dominion.
That turnover. And 2-on-2 break. Here is Doles, and a little too hard, but he's fouled inside.
Young players, if you're coming down the middle, either dunk it or go to the side and use the board. That's a very hard shot when you're flying as hard as these guys are on the break and trying to get it up over the top. Big time shot there. Good control, penetration, very efficient. We use that term so much with Old Dominion. They know what they're doing, they execute.
Isaiah Hunter, who had 19 when they played back in January, has 13 here on the afternoon here, and we are just underway in the second half. Michael Doles, who missed the first couple of games of the year for VCU with mononucleosis, also had an ankle injury. Really didn't get healthy until just after Christmas, so he's just starting to play some of his best basketball, according to Jeff Capel. This young man here at 7 points, just about half his average on the year.
Trying to get his Rams back in gears, Jeff Capel.
Margin back down to 12. It was 15 early in the second half. Lawton inside, they collapse on him. He still takes the one-hander in against Calvin Rowland.
6'9", hands and feet. He's got feet of a Baryshnikov and hands of a surgeon. Boy, he's good.
15 points for Lawton. Well, tonight, a full day of college hoops on ESPN concludes with Atlantic Coast Conference action as J.J. Redick and the Duke Blue Devils look to return to favor and take on the Maryland Terrapins. John Gilchrist, Nick Kaner, Medley and company, who knocked them from the unbeaten earlier this year up at Cameron. Duke, Maryland, available in high definition at 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
Maryland's got a 2-game win streak on the Devils, counting that game in the ACC tournament. The Blue Devils are 1-1 in the new Comcast Center at College Park.
5 points for Calvin Rowland, the junior college transfer. Starting to bring his game together, and Old Dominion nearly turns it over. And ball still is free, and here Nick George will come down with it. Rosa thought about the shot, turns it back over to George, takes the short 15-footer. And they draw the margin back down to 6, 11 points for Nick George.
I hope Jeff Capel kept that halftime talk. There's some juice in his Rams right now. They're pushing the ball up the floor. They got that tenacity offensively. They're much, much better when they're doing this.
B.A. Walker from outside for 3, can't get it to fall, and did he save it? No. It'll belong to Old Dominion, who's Alex Lawton steps in front of the pass. Williamson back outside for 3. Follow inside by Johnson. In among the trees, and he gets shoved from behind, but there's no foul call. 2-on-1 break to George. And Loughton can't afford to contend him because he has 2 personal fouls.
Monarchs, a little bit of a phase right now where they're been run through.
Only conference loss of the year for Old Dominion occurred back on January 29th. We'll show you what happened down at Virginia Commonwealth when they lost by 4. They are 12-1 in conference play. Back in just a moment.
Hey, look up there. There's looking at that. Okay, I'm sorry.
4-point margin here in Norfolk, Virginia. VCU battling back. Now, when these two teams last met on January 29th in Richmond, it was a tale of 2 halves. Old Dominion jumped out to a 13-point lead early on, based on great perimeter shooting in the play of Alex Lawton. In the second half, it was all Virginia Commonwealth. A 14-5 run took the lead. They led by 11 with a minute to go, and the final margin, 75-71. Virginia Commonwealth hands Old Dominion their only conference loss of the year thus far. ODU at 12-1, 22-3. And Nick George, what a night he had. 27 points, a career high, with 18 coming in the second half. Virginia Commonwealth second half surge this afternoon is led by George with 7 points this half. VCU on a 13-2 run the last 3 minutes after being down by 15 early in the second half. The margin now has been cut to 4.
Nick George got 17 minutes in that first half, but only 6 points.
And Nick George tries to get the rebound, has it swatted away, and VCU will own the basketball and have a chance to cut it to 2. The Rams of Virginia Commonwealth have won 10 in a row, and they are battling back here in the second half. Okay, great. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I got you. Good. Basilius has 3. Hey, let me
Get a Coke or something, Diet Coke.
open up the spare.
Anything.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm on the spare. Yeah, my level's just really low. I need to raise the level on the spare. Level up on the spare. I have the buttons wide open. Level up on the spare. Hello? Hello? Yeah, it still isn't getting any better. Okay, I'll go back on the other. All right, I'm back on the other one. Okay, yeah, the spare I could barely hear. We just got so much static in both these boxes. A little what? Rivalry week, the Colonial Athletic Association matchup. Two arch rivals, Virginia Commonwealth and Old Dominion. VCU won the regular season and conference tournament a year ago. These two teams met in the semifinals, with VCU taking the win. This year, Blaine Taylor has really gotten the Monarchs on a roll, building this program yearly. This is his 4th year here, and there's Jeff Capel in his 3rd year, turned 30 years of age today. Seeing his Virginia Commonwealth Rams battling back here in the second half.
And he aged a little more in that first half. Rams couldn't get anything going, but they're much, much better in the second half. They got a spring in their step.
Motion offense by VCU. Michael Doles gets it swatted away. Harper picks it up inside and takes the backside.
I'm telling you, that pass was to nowhere, but a Ram got it.
Nice effort, nice garbage basket by Alexander Harper, who began the year as a starting point guard. Margin now down the 2, closest we've had it since early in the ball game.
Put a big-time hush in this crowd too, Jerry. This home crowd has lost 10 in a row to these guys. They were feeling pretty good at the half, and now they're saying, "Oh my, not again."
Hunter can't get it to fall. Harper saves it. Virginia Commonwealth has never led. They are down by 2. A 3 will put them up for the first time of the afternoon. That one's kicked out of bounds. They'll reset the shot clock. It will belong back to VCU. What a job Jeff Capel has done in just 3 years. We told you they 23-8 a year ago, nearly upset Wake Forest, the number 4 seed in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. And that's the first basket for ODU since the 17-20 mark. Almost 3 minutes and 20 seconds without a basket. The Monarchs back up by 4.
Well, not getting many touches inside. I think that's something that Old Dominion must pay attention to. They're just much better when their offense runs through him.
Great pass inside to Nick George, and he draws the foul on DAHI.
VCU getting the ball down inside, looking for the horse. Nick George missed their second half in the first game in Richmond. Career high.
Conference Co-Player of the Week at the end of January, averaged 21.5 points and 9.5 rebounds in 2 conference games that last week of January, including that 27-point outburst against Old Dominion. 16 points and 12 rebounds against James Madison, young man from Manchester, England. Captain and preseason all-conference selection for the Rams of VCU.
Only a junior, and with recruiting already done, both of these, at least with commitments, both of these teams are going to be strong on into the future.
15 points equals his average. Talking about Nick George, and the margin back to 2 points. Blaine Taylor now wanting some deliberate offense. Nice outside shot. King gets much more deliberate than that. Isaiah Hunter for 3. 16 points for the junior from Charlotte. Outside also, Michael Doles answers for 3 for the Rams. 11 points for Doles.
That's a guy you got to make put it on the floor. He's got a shaky handle, but boy, catch and shoot. Well, you saw it. Money.
Colonial Athletic Association teams, two arch rivals. That one rolls out. And nice swat from behind by George. Has the numbers on the break. George will take it himself inside. Nice soft lay in. 17 points for Nick George. Remember, he had 27, a career high, when they played ODU about 3.5 weeks ago.
This crowd turning hostile, Jerry. Their elation of the first half has turned to disbelief and even a few boos.
If we just joined our coverage, Old Dominion has led since the beginning of this ball game. As Hunter hits a three from outside to jack his numbers to 19. Old Dominion led by as many as 15 early in the second half, and that was the first tie of the game just a moment ago.
So much time left, 12 minutes and change, 3-point game. But this crowd now is doing the right thing. They're getting behind their team. This is when they need them.
Isaiah Hunter brings the crowd back to their feet. Doles can't get it to fall. Hunter tries to get the rebound, and it rolls out of bounds off of him, and it belongs back to VCU.
Alex Loudon and Brandon Johnson into the Old Dominion lineup.
There's Alex Loudon back in, the junior forward from Perth, Australia. Loudon, who scored 45 points and had 15 rebounds against Charlotte last year, Conference USA co-champion. Most points scored by Division I player all year long.
I don't think anybody's topped that this year either, have they? He's good, very good.
And nice effort by Doles on the break to the basket. 1-point margin, exactly what you expect on a rivalry weekend.
As advertised, these two teams don't really like each other. It's about a 2-hour drive between Norfolk and Richmond, but they're much closer than that in terms of competing for the sports page and the players.
Virginia Commonwealth battling back. Michael Doles, a senior from Richmond, drives, lays it in off the glass. Was that on Basilius? Was that on Basilius at his fourth? He's got three.
That foul right there was on 21-2.
Oh, on George, okay.
What do you got there, Joe?
Okay, I got you. All right. Which promo? Yeah, she's not here right now, so which one is it? She's not here, and I can't find the card. Let's see. All right.
Okay. Okay, got.
So David Amber's going to take it out of break, guys. Is that right? Okay, good enough. I got you. I got you. Thank you very much, David. The Jayhawks getting it done there over Colorado. We have a good one going on here. Take a look at our ESPN Cisco Systems game track. Virginia Commonwealth 9 of 13 this half. Nick George 17 points, 11.5, and likewise 6 of 14 field goals this half for Old Dominion. Lawton and Dahi combined to have 27 points. That's a combination of both their scoring in the half for 27 points for Dahi and Lawton.
Rams 2-3 off the baseline out of bounds. So far, carbon of the first game in Richmond.
Oh, nice dish inside, and Loughton just couldn't quite hang on to it. Had a wide open lay-in inside. Rams inside, rolling the turnaround. The junior college transfer can't get it to fall. The follow, no good by Harper. And here come the Monarchs. Hunter looking for the three-point shot. They'll set up the offense. That's the man they want to look for inside. Nice soft touch for the 9-footer by Alex Loughton. 17 points.
He's got everything on the menu. Short, long, and in between.
Ball is tipped away. Great defensive effort by Brandon Johnson.
Harper having a hard time getting his team into his offense. Great pressure on the ball.
Harper began the year as the point guard. Missed 15 games last year. And Nick George tumbles inside. He wants the basketball and will take the short jumper. Physical play inside. Here comes ODU on the break. They've got the numbers 2-on-1. Oh, over the package, George. Nice fake by Vasilius. His fourth point of the afternoon. Great effort by Valdas Vasilius, the Lithuanian.
Great poise on the end of that break. Nobody crossover dribbling behind the back. They just made the defense commit and then made the play. Beautiful.
This standing room only crowd that's been sold out for about 2.5 weeks here in Norfolk, Virginia, on their feet at the Constant Convocation Center. Margin now grows back to 5 for Old Dominion. Inside, Rowland musters one up and gets it to fall. Watch this effort by Valdas Vasilius. Pumps once, gets Nick George up in the air, and then the nice soft lay-in.
Third foul on Lawton. I've expected the Rams to go at him quite a bit more than they have.
And the big fella Rowland misses the three-point opportunity. Almost get the ball back. The margin is 3. Oh, inside to Loughton. Can't get the ball a little too strong. He lets the rebound away. And a physical play inside. Make it 19 points for the preseason Athletic Conference Player of the Year, the CAA Player of the Year, Alex Loughton.
Lawton's so mean because he hasn't had a summer in 5 years. He plays here in the winter. When he goes back to Australia in June, it's winter there. No wonder he's tough.
His parents are going to come back and try to watch him next week as they approach the Colonial Athletic Association tournament. Along with Bucky Waters, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you. Rivalry week here. Association style. And what a statement by Isaiah Hunter. 21 points by Hunter.
If you have to ask, he's 6'2". Woo, what hops.
Are you kidding me? Isaiah Hunter skying on that shot and brings this capacity crowd to their feet. Take a look at Isaiah Hunter, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's 6'1.5", but that one he looks like he's 7'5". Nothing but net.
Yeah, Nick George at 6'6" had a chance to do something about it. Did not. Had plenty of time to make a defensive play and get in front, punch this ticket, and let him go. Crowd is back in it.
Take a look at the effort in the second half. Virginia Commonwealth climbing back. Nick George and company battling through inside. And how about Isaiah Hunter single-handedly just dumping it in as rivalry week continues.
Blaine Taylor resting the big fella now. Alex Loughton getting a little blow on the bench, has 3 fouls, 8:46 to go. Good move.
And Alex Harper, the Virginia Commonwealth point guard, has gone to the bench with a cut over his eye. He's being attended to. There he is at the end of the bench, the head trainer for VCU working with Harper. That is Todd Kraft. They're working on him. They will possibly take him in the locker room with a small cut over that left eye. That foul, by the way, on Vasilius, his 4th foul. He will head to the bench.
The blood on the shirt may well necessitate another shirt as well.
There's a look at Valdas Vasilius, his 4th personal foul. As the Rams trying to hang in this one, down by 5. Nice spin around by Jesse Pellarosa. First couple of points of the afternoon. What a surprise that Pelarosa has not been a factor at all offensively here until we are inside of 9 minutes in the ball game.
Coming off his best game of the season at Drexel the other night with 11 points and 10 boards.
His first career double-double. That foul inside on Reed, his first. That's Derek Reed, the big senior center out of Richmond. Lawton comes back in. Thompson and Henderson will take a seat.
Big fella's very much at home out there.
Correction, that was the fourth personal foul on Reed.
Again, the zone on the baseline, out of bounds by the Rams.
Very deliberate offense here by the Monarchs, and the ball taken away by Michael Doles. On the break, Doles lays it in off the glass. Back to 1 point, 15 points from Michael Doles, and the margin was 15 points early in the second half. They have been tied once in the second half and is now back down to 1 as Virginia Commonwealth refuses to go away, Coach.
They're having trouble with this zone. The Rams had struggled a little bit in their man-for-man. The zone has really kind of leveled off and evened out this attack by Old Dominion.
Dahi inside. ARNAUD Dahi, 16 points. Now you understand why he leads the conference in field goal percentage.
That is a high percentage.
Ball taken away from George, and they will call traveling steps on Johnson, Brandon Johnson, and this crowd does not like the call. They wanted a foul on B.A. Walker. We got a great one going on here in Norfolk, Virginia, 67-64, as we check in the studio with David Amber. David?
What's the line on Harper?
Okay, gotcha.
What's the line on Harper, Tony?
No news on him yet.
No, just what's his line?
Come back, Jimmy. This headset's getting like, just tell. Okay, billboard. So VCU leader and an ODU leader? I got you. Okay. And that's Hunter, right? Yeah. You go ahead. Three-point margin here in Norfolk, Virginia, in a packed house, and that guy right there is packing it in right now on the bench. A tough afternoon is Alexander Harper, the junior point guard, cut over his left eye, and they are attending to him, trying to get that bandage up so we can get him back on the court. He has certainly been one of the sparks of this VCU offense here in the second half.
7 points, 2 for 3 on the field goals, 1 for 1 from 3. They need him. Patch him up, Doc. Get him back in there.
There's Hunter, who leads Old Dominion with 21 points. You saw a moment ago. George with 17 for VCU. Virginia Commonwealth trailed by 15 early in the second half, and Walker takes the 2. They tied it up at 12:58 at 54 apiece, and it has been back and forth. However, ODU has never trailed in this basketball game. ARNAUD DAHI inside. Williamson on the drive, can't get it to fall. Doles, and they will call Doles with the push on Williamson. The personal foul. Second on Doles. Well, tonight, a full day of college hoops on ESPN concludes with Atlantic Coast Conference action as J.J. Redick and the Duke Blue Devils head to College Park, Maryland to take on John Gilchrist, Nick Keener Medley, and the Maryland Terrapins who beat them at Cameron early in the year. 9 o'clock Eastern time, Duke and Maryland.
One of the Rams was snoozing in the paint, and it cost them dearly. What a great pass. Good eyes, head up, right off the dribble.
Rosa, the left-hander. Big rebound inside by Dahi. Here is Hunter, who will think better of it. Doesn't have the numbers. It's 1-on-3, all against Isaiah Hunter.
So smart. Good judgment. Don't forget about the big fella, Monarchs.
But I'll take the one from outside and doesn't get it to fall, and they're going to call Dahi on the foul as Doles goes down. Second personal foul on ARNAUD DAHI.
In my opinion, Lawton lonesome at both ends. The Rams ought to be taking that ball at him, and his own team really not looking for him in there. Watch the quicks. Great pass. Oh. Well, they look for him that time, but he was lonelier than a hitchhiker with pets. Nobody close.
4-point differential, and if you just joined our coverage, these two teams, arch rivals in the Colonial Athletic Association. In the yellow, Virginia Commonwealth, the Rams, last year's regular season and conference tournament champion, and in the white, the homestanding Old Dominion Monarchs, who are 12-1 on the year, and a great lofting shot by Calvin Rowland, who picks up his 11th point, and Alex Lawton couldn't contend him with 3 personal fouls.
Boy, he bellies up close, though, with that 6'9" and long arms. He made it a difficult shot over him. Very smart player, as well as skilled.
Got a push inside.
To number 30, Calvin Rowland.
There's a look at the conference standings. Old Dominion with a 2-game lead over UNC Wilmington. Virginia Commonwealth, last year's regular season champion, at 9-4 in the conference with 4 games left to play prior to the conference tournament. The tournament championship game, by the way, right here on ESPN and ESPN2, the first weekend of March. Inside, oh, nice pass. Everyone just standing flat-footed, and ARNAUD DAHI gets the pass from Isaiah Hunter. 18 points.
Yeah, the whole front court of VCU just kind of watched that one float in.
Nick George tries to get inside. Great defense by DAHI. Can't get that one to fall. Doles tries to get the rebound, and here comes Isaiah Hunter. A great athletic move by Hunter. 23 points by Hunter, who had 20 early in the year against Kent State.
What a great move on the break. Williamson put that one right in, and B.A. Walker's grill. Control. Even with all that speed, he had control.
Jeff Capel having to talk it over here as they're starting to pull back away. Now it's time to take a look back at this date in college basketball history. A Philadelphia basketball legend, Paul Arizin, starred for Villanova after getting cut from his high school squad just a few years earlier. On this night in 1949, Arizin poured in 85 points, the second highest total in a Division I game. A year later, he would be named the nation's best college basketball player.
What happened? Go ahead, Brett.
February 12th, 1949, and some great college basketball in the early years. And speaking of early years of college basketball, in a couple of weeks, Bucky, they're going to honor you and some of your team up in West Virginia, where you coached the Mountaineers.
Yes, in 2 weeks, that late 60s group's coming back. It was the first group of African Americans to play hoops for West Virginia, and they're being honored, and I'm looking forward to seeing that old gang. We had a lot of fun. We had good players.
A turnover. They will call steps on Michael Doles. That'll turn the basketball over to ODU. Both these teams shooting lights out. Over 58% from the field for both teams. ODU at 59 and Virginia Commonwealth at 58%.
Out of the zone now, the Rams doing what they do best, trying to play that physical man for man.
What a nice move by Alex Loughton, the junior.
That's why I keep asking them to go through him. He goes long minutes without touches.
And the ball is turned over. No, it'll belong back to VCU. Well, the last time the VCU Rams lost to Old Dominion, well, it was January 20th, 2001, 4 years ago. Who the head coach was of that ODU team? We'll tell you when we come back. You might find it fascinating. Back in just a moment.
I remember Drew as being taller.
Okay. I got you.
I got you.
Thank you very much, David. Back here in Norfolk, Virginia, on the strength of an 8-2 run, Old Dominion has pulled out to a 9-point lead, 75-66. Who was the head coach at ODU last time they beat VCU? How about that guy's dad, Jeff Capel Jr.? He was an assistant coach, and also one of his coaches on the current staff here, Mark Klein, was on that staff. That was 4 years ago. January 20th, 2001, the Capel family were running the show here at ODU.
By the way, Jason Capel, the former Carolina player, is playing in Japan now. And father, Jeff Capel Jr., is an assistant with the Bobcats in Charlotte in the NBA. What you call a very much hoop family.
Very, very basketball-oriented family. 9-point margin. Here is Hunter, gets it partially blocked by Telarosa. Nice follow-up by Williamson inside. Drew Williamson recruited to go to North Carolina by Matt Doherty when they made the coaching change. They really didn't consider him that strongly, so he comes here and has been a major player for ODU here in Blaine Taylor.
Both teams now really trying to go down inside. The Rams have only committed 4 fouls. They've got a few to give here. 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
9-point margin. ODU has never, well, they have not beaten Virginia Commonwealth in the last 10 meetings. It has been 4 years since Old Dominion has beaten their conference rival, Blaine Taylor, 0 for 9 against the guys in the yellow jerseys. Williamson for the short 16-footer. Oh, Nick George on the break. jams it home. And Jeff Capel calls the timeout to try to set up the defense. 7-point margin.
Rams are running. The Rams are good. When they get caught in the half court against a much bigger front court, they have struggled. Watch this. Really pushing the ball up the floor. No dribbles. Bam, bam, layup. Oh, is that beautiful? When you dribble, you give the defense time to catch you.
Nice outlet pass from Pella Rosa to Walker, and then across court to Nick George for the jam. Jeff Capel, who turned 30 years of age today. The youngest Division I coach in the country, his third year at the helm of the Rams of Virginia Commonwealth, coming off a 23-8 season a year ago, a regular season and conference tournament championship.
After he was let go at Old Dominion, he joined the staff at VCU under a guy named Mac McCarthy. And after 1 year, McCarthy said, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And Jeff Capel, at 27, gets the head coaching job. Mac McCarthy now is back in coaching as an assistant at Georgia Tech with the women's program. Just couldn't stay away.
Important defensive series here as Virginia Commonwealth needs to get the basketball back. The clock, the ally of Old Dominion.
Some double teaming now by the Rams, trying to generate some transition offense. It's when they've looked best today.
Trying to take some time off the clock. Shot clock now inside of 7 seconds. And here is Hunter at 22 feet away. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Got to get his shot up, and Hunter gets it off. And the ball will belong to the Rams of VCU.
Well, he ate some time, and he almost ate the ball.
Rowland back out to Walker, who's the jump shooter. Inside to Rowland. And they're going to call a foul inside as Rowland tries to back in. Well, coming up next, Rivalry Week presented by Cisco Systems continues as Creighton visits Southern Illinois in a Missouri Valley Conference matchup. That's coming your way from Carbondale, Illinois. Dave Repson and Doug Gottlieb standing by out in Carbondale for that Missouri Valley Conference showdown. Tip off at 6:05 Eastern time at the conclusion of our game. 1:31 to play here in a 7-point margin for Old Dominion.
30-second Old Dominion timeout.
You know, we talk about the efforts of Old Dominion here. This team, if you look at the mid-majors top 25, they consider Old Dominion in most polls as the 3rd-ranked team in the country in the mid-majors. In fact, Dick Vitale, when he gives his top 25, he ranks Old Dominion in the top 25 at 23rd. He has 3 mid-majors in that ranking. There's the mid-major top 3.
ESPN today, Paul, has them at 31, so they're big time.
There's Gonzaga, Pacific, and Old Dominion 1, 2, and 3 in the mid-major top 3.
You can see the desperation on the Old Dominion's face in that man, Blaine Taylor. Is it over? 10 straight. I've been looking at these guys. I see them at the airport. I see them at conference meetings. When is it going to end?
And Jeff Capel saying, we can do it. We've owned these guys the last 10 games. Our players know that we find a way to win in the final minute of the ball game. Important free throws by Rowland, who can't get it to fall, and the ball comes down to Williamson for Old Dominion. Final minute and 30 seconds of this rivalry here in the Colonial Athletic Association. 7-point margin.
They got to start looking for some foul priorities.
And timeout, Blaine Taylor to try to set up what he wants to do here in the final minute 25.
There's the big play. Isaiah Hunter with a stuff. It's Jam City. Everybody's going for the rack. The Rams have only committed 4 fouls with 1 minute and 25 seconds to go. So they have a few to give here. The Monarchs are over the bonus at 7.
Old Dominion coming in at 22-3, their overall record. Their only 3 losses at Virginia Commonwealth by 4 points, 71-75 at DePaul, and at Texas A&M Corpus Christi early in the year by 4 points. They've got some quality wins this year. In fact, that tournament they won in Texas back in over Thanksgiving, included Florida State, who only won one game. And Old Dominion won the tournament with a 3-1 record down there. And when you include the Seminoles, who played some pretty good basketball in the ACC.
Indeed, they have. This is a good basketball team. They've demonstrated that. What they got to do now is figure out how to close against the Rams.
And the referees are looking at the clock. Apparently the clock did not start a moment ago. There's the reset that shows you VCU up 77-70. Possession error will favor the Rams of Virginia Commonwealth. There's Manny Upton, our referee, who wisely went over to check the clock a moment ago to be able to reset the clock for this final minute and 14 seconds.
Fouls to give.
And Michael Doles will foul Drew Williamson, the sophomore guard out of Burlington.
When you're in that situation, you got fouls to give. You need to go ahead and really try to steal the ball. It's a license to steal. And if you get called for a foul, well, it's all right. But that foul didn't accomplish much.
Just the 15th foul for VCU. That'll make it the 16th foul. That foul on Nick George.
21, Nick George, his third, team 6.
That is his third. The next one will produce the 101. Here is Hunter. And they're trying to foul inside as they're grabbing around Thomas. And finally they do get the foul on B.A. Walker.
Thomas, 77% free throw shooter. Not a high priority if you're trailing.
That foul they're saying was on Doles. That is his 4th personal foul. 1 minute and 4 seconds to play. This game has been sold out for 2 weeks because the fans here in the Norfolk Tidewater area of Virginia were feeling it. Feeling possibly a win for the first time over their arch rival in the conference. Telerosa can't get it to fall. Here's Walker for 19 feet. And they're going to call a foul inside on a push on the rebound, and they will disallow the basket. That is on Reed, and that is his 5th personal foul. Derek Reed, the senior center from Richmond, will foul out with 2 points on the afternoon.
This crowd's starting to feel it, but I'm telling you, 55 seconds to go, 7 points. We've all seen stranger things than that happen. But it's imperative that VCU get out, take some steals, get a break at the free throw line, get a couple of misses, but they've got to get running.
You know, the Colonial Athletic Association over the years have been labeled giant killers in the NCAA tournament. They own wins over teams like Georgetown, Ohio State, Syracuse, Indiana, Georgia Tech. They beat Villanova a few years ago in triple overtime, and the UNC Wilmington upset Southern Cal. I would not want to play one of these teams early on in the NCAA tournament. Very good basketball here in the CAA.
And Wake Forest found that out last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They lost by 1 to VCU.
Blaine Taylor, who spent 3 years going to postseason as an assistant coach at Stanford under Mike Montgomery. They went to the Elite Eight his final year there as assistant coach. Took the Montana Grizzlies to the postseason 3 times in his 7 years as a head coach there. Now hoping to take Old Dominion to the big dance. They got to hold on for the final 50 seconds. Walker on the drop. And timeout, Virginia Commonwealth, as Nick George tries to get a timeout. Remember, coming up next, we're going to head out to Carbondale, Illinois. Missouri Valley Conference action. Creighton taking on Southern Illinois. Dave Rapson and Doug Gottlieb standing by. Tip-off scheduled 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And you know it's a big game when the fire marshal gets involved. And the fire marshal told them yesterday they could not sell any more standing room only in this beautiful new building here in Norfolk, Virginia. The Pitt Constant Convocation Center packed to the gills.
Well, he's got seats to sell now because this crowd's standing. They're one happy bunch. They're smelling it. They're feeling it. in this Old Dominion program, there's some pretty famous guys out there. Oliver Purnell, a product here, now head coach at Clemson. Dave Twardzik, head of player personnel at Orlando. And Mark West, general manager, assistant of the Phoenix Suns. So good tradition here.
And George can't get it to fall, and they will foul Vasilius from behind. Talk about the great tradition here at Old Dominion, and now this crowd beginning to understand with 35 ticks on the clock that that man right there may have done something that no one's done for here in a long time. He has beaten their arch rival, Virginia Commonwealth, if they can hold on the final 35 seconds. Talk about the great basketball tradition here. Kenny Gaddison played for Old Dominion. Third-round pick for Phoenix. Chris Gatlin, the first-round pick for Golden State back in 1991. The Lady Monarchs have won 3 national titles in NCAA women's basketball. And now Blaine Taylor rebuilding the program here at Old Dominion. A lot to be proud of here for this team this year. Down to the final seconds. Inside the George. He can't get the shot off, and he's shoved out of bounds by Vasilius. Nice little crabbing move to shove George off of the end line, but he is called for the foul. And that will send the Lithuanian to the bench with his 5th personal foul.
An international flavor there is, and they're all happy for Old Dominion. Australia, the Ivory Coast. I want to be their travel agent when they go get these guys.
You know, the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association, currently has 10 teams in this very impressive league. They're going to add Georgia State and Northeastern to become a 12-team league. How about those teams with 22-plus wins? Illinois, they've done pretty well. Illini, and now Old Dominion trying to go to get their 23rd win here today.
Oh, there'll be some partying in Norfolk. They might even get out on the beach, but it's about 40 degrees.
Nick George, who has led all scorers for the Rams of Virginia Commonwealth with 19 points. And they'll have one more shot to add to it.
Got to miss this one. If you got any chance at all, you got to miss it.
10-point margin. Old Dominion leads the league in about every major category, including defensive scoring defense, I should say. And Old Dominion led by 15 early in the second half. Virginia, Jeff Capel's bunch clawed back to tie it up. And here are some of the key plays in the second half. Great outside shooting by Isaiah Hunter. Hunter on the drive.
Yeah, he did everything. Inside out, great passing. Had no turnovers in the first half. 5 assists. Then he went to scoring in the second half.
Well, he told you Isaiah Hunter lost his father, Irving Hunter, after Irving came to watch him play here on November 22nd. A week later, his dad passes away, loses the battle with cancer. An emotional week, an emotional month for this young man, and what a great day he has had here. 23 points against their arch rival, VCU. 15 points for B.A. Walker on the three-pointer.
Hey, one time in Chapel Hill, Duke had an 8-point lead with 16 seconds to go and lost the game in overtime. And that was before the three-point shot. It is possible.
We are at the Constant Convocation Center. Fort Virginia, Virginia Commonwealth, and Old Dominion, along with the coach, Bucky Waters. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. Rivalry week presented by Cisco Systems. Coming up next, Creighton against Southern Illinois. That tip-off 6:05 Eastern time. And we are just have 16, a little over 16 ticks on the clock here. Jeff Capel, youngest Division I coach in college basketball. He turned 30 years of age today. Not the birthday present he wanted. The first loss possibly to their arch rival, Old Dominion.
Well, as a 30-year-old head coach, the young man is way ahead of the game. I look back on guys who coached with me at Duke. U.B. Brown, who must have had 14, 15 years as a high school coach. Chuck Daly waited as a high school coach, I know, 12 or 13 years. So He's precocious. He's been on the fast track, and he's made the most of his opportunity. And Jeff, by the way, you can't win them all.
Remember, coming up, a great one. Missouri Valley Conference action, the SIU Arena in Carbondale. Dave Refson and Doug Gottlieb standing by. Full court pass to Isaiah Hunter, and they will mug Hunter. It's a 2-on-1. I believe the foul will be called on B.A. Walker, who got him first.
Old Dominion fans, much like the Red Sox fans this year, finally get a chance to